Dear friends, welcome to another episode today in the World at War. In this video, we will talk about how Israel is dealing with the threat posed by Lebanon, Syria, and Iran, and why the Israeli rear is currently in such a critical situation. Did you know that nearly 20% of domestic flights take off with some delay? When a flight is cancelled or experiences a delay, the impact on your daily life is almost certain. But did you know that flight delays or cancellations can still lead to compensation if you find yourself forced to stay at the airport due to the airline's fault? Click the link in the description to learn more about your rights with DPG Digital. Since the birth of the State of Israel on May 14, 1948, the country has faced attacks that have often come from all possible fronts. On May 15, 1948, with just one day of existence, Israel was attacked by Egypt, Transjordan, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, and Yemen in waves of attacks coming from the north, northeast, east, and south. In June 1967, Egypt, Syria, Jordan, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Lebanon, and Pakistan had amassed a massive force of over 500,000 soldiers along all of Israel's borders, but the Israelis discovered the Arab plan before the offensive began and launched a preemptive strike, winning in just 6 days against a massive Arab coalition. A few years later, in 1973, on the holiest Jewish holiday, around 650,000 Arab soldiers attacked Israel from the south and northeast, catching the Israelis completely off guard. Nevertheless, Israel once again emerged victorious against a large Arab coalition, just as had happened in previous attacks from multiple fronts in 1948, 1967, and 1973. The 1973 war was the last major Arab attempt to invade, marking exactly 50 years and 1 day ago. But in 2023, more than 2,000 terrorists from the Palestinian group Hamas invaded southern Israel on that same day, leaving behind a gruesome toll of over 1,200 civilian deaths, over 100 kidnapped, and thousands injured, much like the 3 major invasions of 1948, 1967, and 1973. Now, in 2023, Israel is not just concerned about one of its borders along the Gaza Strip. Israel is also concerned about its rear, represented by its border with Lebanon, and, most notably, Syria. The reason for this concern is quite simple. Many of the invading forces in those 3 wars originated from the Syrian border. The geopolitical context in the Middle East today is vastly different from what it was during those 3 major wars, and Lebanon and Syria are now shadows of their former selves from the 1960s and 70s. However, Israel is currently not so much worried about an invasion by Syrian and Lebanese troops, but rather the various terrorist and insurgent groups operating in those 2 countries. Lebanon is authentically devastated by a severe economic crisis that has directly affected its armed forces, reducing them to a mere border and police force. However, Lebanon is the home of Hezbollah, one of the most significant and well-equipped anti-Israel combat groups, consisting of various branches, including a political arm with seats in the Lebanese parliament and a military arm classified as a terrorist organization by many countries. Hezbollah is responsible for attacks against civilians in northern Israel and is heavily financed by Iran, Israel's greatest adversary in the Middle East. Syria, under the rule of dictator Bashar al-Assad, is in complete chaos, similar to Lebanon. Moreover, large parts of the country are under the control of various insurgent and terrorist groups. To make matters worse, Turkey continues to occupy and attack certain regions in the north in its fight against the Kurds. While Syria, like Lebanon, may not be capable of launching an invasion against Israel, various pro-Iranian Syrian groups, many with direct ties to the governments of Assad and Tehran, can cause significant headaches for the Israelis at this moment. As of Thursday, October 12, 2023, both the Lebanese and Syrian borders are highly tense, with Hezbollah repeatedly attempting to infiltrate terrorists into northern Israel, while pro-Iranian Syrian groups continue to attack Israelis, primarily through rockets and artillery. There is currently no real threat of a large terrorist invasion from the north, but as the surprise attack by Hamas in the south showed, Israelis do not want to repeat the same mistake. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so now and turn on notifications to stay updated on the latest developments.